the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 240 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Beckson. Today, we're going to be talking with Cristina Guerrini. As many of you guys know that have been on the podcast before, we usually get a bit of an update of what's happening on residency here in Costa Rica. She's a partner at Bluezone Legal and lives full-time in Nosada as well. So we're going to get a bit of an update on kind of any changes that are happening in residency. Also, there's been a bit of a push here on this perpetual tourism visa, so getting a bit of an update on that. And also taking a look here at making sure is that if you have a vacation rental in Costa Rica, that you are also legal and managing that correctly here as well. As the Hacienda, which is the Costa Rican IRS, is getting, I would say, closer to local municipalities there because there's a lot of unclaimed tax there. And I know the tourism industry is kind of pushing hard to make sure that vacation rentals are regulated. So there's a level playing field here with hotels. So we'll get an update from her. Remember, guys, if you're looking to make any investment here in Costa Rica, purchase real estate, do any construction, project management, feel free to reach out to us. We have people here in our office that help that. We have a project management division, which helps people build here. We do not build, but we actually oversee and are a pain in the butt to make sure that clients basically are paying the right amount and doing the right things when it comes to building here in Costa Rica. And if they're not here, keeping a watchful eye on it during that process as well, just to make sure that they get what they're paying for. And as I mentioned there as well, we also have a real estate investment arm as well. So if you're looking to buy real estate here as a vacation rental, just as an investment, we have an arm here that will do all of the analysis for you and take you out, show you to see properties, etc., and making sure you're seeing the wide gambit of stuff here, kind of acting more as consultants than realtors here in Costa Rica. So you can email us info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com, or in the description down below, there's a link. You can click it and actually speak to one of the advisors here in the office. Again, no obligation, guys. We're a sucker for helping people. So honestly, please reach out to us. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Cristina. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Good. I think it's you and David Carr who are competing for the most podcasts, but we always like to get you on and get an idea of kind of what's going on, especially as the ever world of residency and now this perpetual tourism and I think now vacation rentals, things are starting to get a little bit more, or they're threatening to get a little bit more organized, should I say, because of course Costa Rica talks a lot, but half the time doesn't do what it talks about. But I think we've seen a lot of volatility recently. And I've been talking about that in the last podcast. And I think it's probably here to stay, to be honest with you. I can't see it changing. Tourism numbers, are down January, down February. I'm sure that we'll continue to see that, as kind of a normality returns here as well. And again, I say down, but it's been a crazy post-pandemic. We're getting to a new normal. So, I think anyone that was expecting this to continue is absolutely nuts. But it's settling down. We'd estimated that we think anywhere from like a 5 to 8%, kind of reduction this year. But I mean, what are you seeing on your side, and directly, how is it impacting your workload?
Okay, so we are still pretty busy, I will say, and I'm very happy and proud about that. I did notice that the market is going back to a pre-pandemic situation.
Yep.
So I think we're probably stable because we are growing. And so when the big hit post-pandemic was taking place, we were a new company, so we had to get new clientele. Now we're stable, but I think it's because we are growing, even though the market is slowing down a bit.
Yeah.
And
what about?
Yeah, I agree with you. It makes sense. It should not be a surprise that the boom post-COVID will not last forever.
Well, I mean, you're in Nosada, and I'm sure that you've seen a bit of a slowdown there. I mean, just looking at data from vacation rentals, it's one of the areas that's been hardest hit in occupancy numbers, and we're actually just finishing a build here for a client at the moment, estimating what their income is going to be and be like, look, guys, we're going to have to kind of dampen this down a little bit based on, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
of course,
but it's not as good as it was.
Of course. Yeah, I think it was a nice parenthesis, and everyone is again going back to normal. Legal fees are also going down, which is sometimes tough when you have like house quotation in dollars and you make money in dollars, and with the exchange rate that we have now, that means that it's a big piece of the cake that we are letting go, but that's fine. That's fair enough. As long as you do a good job and you have a fair and stable reputation, Costa Rica is still a very good country to do business in.
Yeah. So, I think it's returning to a fair market value, demand and supply, which is
correct.
It might just take some people a little longer to understand the demand and supply, axis, but we shall see. But I think one of the most recent things that's been pushed through that we've been having a lot of noise about is this perpetual tourist visas, this bill to be passed. And again, Costa Rica talks a lot of time about a lot of stuff, but really then actually passing it and implementing it are two very different things, I mean, what's really happening? What's the new motion and what's the likelihood it's really going to get passed?
Okay, so the new motion is being presented by Priscilla Vindas, a congresswoman, and it is entirely about perpetual tourism. So it's a bill of law, first of all. Let's make it clear. It's a bill of law. It's a project. It may pass. Eventually, it may never pass. It may pass with amendments. We don't know. At the moment, it's just a proposal. That's what it is, okay?
So it hasn't even gone through the first debate yet?
No, of course not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And as you know, there are two debates, and
then
there could be the vetoes, and there are many factors to consider.
Yep.
And Costa Rica is not the fastest country in the world, so.
And a change of government in a year.
The change of government, yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Let's see what the proposal is. Okay, what they are proposing is to triple the sanctions for tourists who overstay their visa.
Yep.
So they're saying that if you overstay, the economic fine will no longer be $100. It will be $300 per month you stayed past your tourist visa. And they're saying that you can still be banned to come back to the country for 3 times the time you overstayed.
Okay.
And as a general rule, applying automatically to anyone, if you're a tourist, you come here and you're granted a tourist visa, you have to leave the country for at least 90 days before being able to renew it. There is a 90-day entry ban proposed, okay? Again, it's a proposal. So they're proposing, if I come here on vacation, I get 6 months or I get 1 month, whatever I get, I leave, I cannot decide, oh, it was amazing, I want to go back in 1 month. No, you have to be away for at least 90 days.
Okay.
That's the proposal.
I can already tell you that's never going to pass, Cristina. I mean, it sounds like someone's grabbing headlines. It's got to pass first debate. Her party doesn't have a majority. I feel like it's headline grabbing.
And I think both of you have, waited to have this podcast because we didn't want to give more importance to the bill, but I think it's just necessary. We have to discuss this. Well, but I don't see it as being approved.
It's an election year. Let's not get wrong. This year is an election year. So you're going to see a lot of stuff thrown around and people are going to see what sticks on the walls. Gentrification, taxes, vacation rentals, perpetual tourists, taxes, Social Security. They're going to try everything and just see what sticks with people.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't think that we should do something about perpetual tourism. I do think that the government should find solution to motivate, to ensure that the foreigners invest and follow the rules in Costa Rica so that there's a fair competition with locals. But I do not think the proposal is the solution. This proposal is not the solution, in my humble opinion.
I agree. I think if you're going to be like, hey, I'm here for a couple of months, a year, 2-3 months, there should be some form of insurance that the country issues for you to buy for Social Security. Because if you get into an accident, you're not going to a private hospital, you're going to a public hospital and using those resources. That's happening, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But also is, and this kind of comes back to taxes of 0.25% property taxes is just too little in some areas, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And that's money the municipality gets, and really they can't do with that. They need to relook at that, but, and then they come back to gentrification, etc. But if someone's worried about this, what are their options? I mean, can they come into the country? Can they come in the country, have a flight that leaves after 6 months to make sure they do get 6 months? Because sometimes you come in, you get 90 days or you get 30 days, or sometimes you get 6 months. But if you come in with, no, I'm here for 6 months and have a flight out, are they ever going to go, no, you can only stay for 30 days?
They could. it is always left at the discretion of the official the time that they give you. Of course, if you have an exit ticket, which may be a flight or a bus ticket, after 180 days, it's more likely that you will get the most, the longest visa. If you come here with a plane ticket after 10 days, then it's more likely that you will get just 10 days, But there are no guarantees at the moment. It's always at the discretion of the official. One thing to say is that if you get less than 180 days, you may go to immigration and request an extension so that you get the full 180 days.
Okay.
But yeah,
well,
I do have noticed that they are not giving 180 days to anyone. So I was contacted by a few people that were like, "Oh, why didn't I get the 180 days?"
I just had a couple of friends come through. They all got 180 days.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
I mean, maybe Liberia is clamping down on it more than San Jose. I have no idea where these clients coming through, but yeah, it's but I mean, also
I think it's at the border. It's the territorial borders that they're probably trying to prevent perpetual tourism with the tools they have. With what tools they have? What can they do? Give you less time to discourage you from being a perpetual tourist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the other option here is, I mean, if you're spending 6 to 9 months a year here in Costa Rica, don't become a perpetual tourist. I mean, get residency. It makes life a hell of a lot easier, and, join the community. Otherwise, again, this gentrification rift is just going to get wider and wider,
Exactly. And let's remember that if you're here on a tourist visa and you don't have an insurance as a tourist and something happens to you, Costa Rica is an amazing country. You will be treated, but you will have to pay.
Correct.
And public healthcare is not cheap.
No, it's not.
So I was recently contacted by a foreigner through an embassy, like, "Oh, my brother is in a very serious situation, and now they want me to pay." I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, if your brother doesn't have an insurance, a travel insurance is enough, but at least have that. If you don't have anything, and if you're living here, you may want to pay the caja, you may want to contribute with the country, not just because it helps you, but it's the country that is giving you the opportunity to have an amazing life. So you want to give back to this country and make it right."
Well, let's change gears a little bit and talk about Airbnb, patentes, ICT regulation, because, this goes round every couple of years, Cristina. I mean, my friends are pushing for this, they're hotel owners, they're pushing for more regulation of vacation rentals, which I completely agree. Like, if you have staff, you should be paying caja, you should be paying taxes, you should be registered, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, even we were talking to some engineers in the municipality of Santa Cruz the other day, and they were like, "Look, no, Tributación Hacienda is breathing down our throat at the moment, about collecting taxes on some of these vacation rentals there." But like, what is the reality of the situation? Because again, there is what should be done, and then there is what actually gets done.
So what should be done are you need to comply with more different requirements. You have an Airbnb, you have to pay taxes in Costa Rica. That's for sure, and that's also important. We have seen lower tourists and more tourists that are using Airbnb. So if the government is not collecting those taxes, they are losing a big piece of the cake of the tourist income. Okay, so that's fair. So you need to pay taxes, meaning you have to register as a taxpayer, and you have monthly and annual obligation. Monthly, you have to declare and pay the value-added tax, and you have to declare the income rent from real estate activity. Those are 2 monthly declaration and 2 monthly payments that must be done. And every year, of course, you have to submit the income tax declaration, tax returns that are due at in middle March. We just declared them. So this is from the tax perspective. Additionally, there is a requirement to register before the ICT, the Costa Rican Tourism Institute. That's something very easy. You have to complete information. You put the link to the Airbnb website where you're promoting your property, and that's done. That's also very important because I do think that the Costa Rican Tourism Institute is an amazing institution that can provide very important data. You just had someone recently in your podcast, and it was one of my favorite episodes and very useful. So that's something that needs to be done. And another thing that is more new and less people know is the municipal license, municipal patente. And that is being implemented right now. Now, will that be implemented? I don't know. Is it possible? Totally. Is it likely? I would say yes. At least, for example, in Nicoya,
Yeah.
you may have heard that a few weeks ago, or if not less, the tax administration and the municipality of Nicoya joined forces, and the tax administration gave to the municipality the email address of every taxpayer registered with an address in Nicoya, and they send them an email say, you need a patente. So the municipality of Nicoya people are being told, if there's a taxpayer, they must have a patente.
And a
So what
patente
type of
basically
patente?
the business license.
The business license, exactly, the business license. So in Nicoya, they have what is called patente no domiciliada. It has different names in different municipalities, as always, you know. But yeah, they want property owners of vacation rentals to get this license. It's kind of easy, I will say. So they're being fair in terms of requirements. But yeah, it's important that people start making sure that they have all the permits, which is why at Bluezone Legal we have created a packet for vacation rentals. If you are not up to date yet, we can get you registered as a taxpayer. We have an accountant that can submit the declaration. We can get the ICT registration, the Costa Rica Tourism Institute registration. We can help you get the municipality permits. We can get everything for the client. And we are promoting this. This is something that needs to be done.
It's funny you say this, because again, you know, I'm in the midst of setting up a property management company throughout Costa Rica at the moment, for our projects that we're working on. I needed insurance. In order to get insurance from INS, they required me to be ICT registered, okay? But MAPFRE did not. So I went with MAPFRE. And so they did not require me to have ICT registration, if that makes sense. So it's closing, that's for sure. But like joining the ICT is great, but like you're not going to get any benefit from it. I'm going to be honest with you, Cristina. The ICT government organization that, you know, brands Costa Rica and markets Costa Rica, and that's it. If you know what I mean. If you need help, they're probably not going to help you that much. You know, you can get data online, but like it's just, I think again, it's a good thing to do anyway. You know,
and it's, you know, pretty cheap, I will say. At least we are charging, I can see a very fair fees.
Yep.
You just wait and there you go. You know, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
They may not help you, but why would you not do that if that's a requirement, you know, and you're.
It's funny we're doing this podcast because I'm going through this at the moment. You know, I mean, I'm just about here to talk about trademarks of business names and stuff. You know, I mean, I've trademarked my business names and also my property names as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty unique brands. So I've done that, you know, I've gone through that process. But like, what should people understand about, like, I think your rights here are very different than they are in the US or anywhere else in the world when it comes to trademarks. Like, you know, if you trademark a brand and someone had it before, like, who owns that trademark?
Exactly. So I think trademark is a topic that is not addressed as it should. You know, people think in Costa Rica, if they set up a corporation with a name, then they have registered it and they are protected. False. The only way for you to protect your commercial name is to register as an intellectual property. Okay. And that's the way to do. And it's also very important to remember that the intellectual property law is based on the territoriality principle. So if you have it registered in the US because you're a multinational and you want to use it in Costa Rica, you have to register it in Costa Rica. You're not protected by the US registration. You need to do the same process here. And the good news is that it's kind of easy to do.
It's a very easy process.
Kind of cheap, super easy. You may even do that without an attorney, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm lazy, so I would definitely do it with an attorney, just, you know, and also to make sure it gets done properly. But I just trademarked, you know, I trademarked my business name, also all of these villas names, you know.
Good. That is, I think there are many benefits of registering a trade name.
Yep.
I can give you my example. I had a former business and look at me, I did not trademark it. I did not register the trademark. And then when I decided to split with my former business partner, then what we do, I'm like, I will just let it go. I will not fight over that. I have a new name. And I'm so happy that I did register the Bluezone Legal trademark, the name, the logos, everything. because here I am. I have had people try to prevent me from using it or try to steal it from me, but I'm protected. What does it mean I'm protected? Having registered it means that they have the exclusive right to use the trademark. So everyone, you want to have your name, you want to have it protected. You don't want to be confused with someone else. You go, you register a trade name, and then you can get protection. It's pretty easy.
Well, let's say, Christina, you just, I don't know, Bluezone Legal, okay? Or via Bluezone, let's say.
Yeah.
And someone comes along, or someone's had that name for a while, but they never registered the trademark, or someone comes along and takes the same villa name as you. I mean, apart from sending them a cease and desist letter, like if they don't follow, I mean, do you have to go through the courts, which, is never a quick process here?
Yeah, well, first of all, before you trademark and you submit the trademark registration and you create a brand and a business, you should do your, homework. You should see if someone else has been using the name, what's going on, so that just to prevent what you just described. But it's important to know that if you're the first, if they have been using a name, but they never register it, they are not protected.
Yeah.
So the first one that registers the trademark is going to be the winning one.
Yeah.
Of course, the other person can oppose, can submit an opposition, and you could fight. But if you're the first one and you demonstrate you have to use it, it's not as strict as it is in the US to the rule about using, but it still is. I mean, I was able to protect my trademark without issues.
It's a pretty quick and easy process as well. It really is.
Absolutely. And it also, I mean, reputation for me is very important. Credibility. If you have a business and then the person's like, oh, they don't even have the trademark registered. You want to be a professional. You want to do things right. You have all the permits registered. And then it also gives value to your business. Let's say that you create now this business now, property management, and you want to sell it in a few years. If you never register the trademark, if you don't have your accounting books and financial statements, then the value may be equal to zero, even though you made income. If you cannot certify and document everything, I had clients, not clients, but people reach out to me like, oh, I have this Airbnb business and rentals. It's very profitable. We made a lot of money. It's an inactive corporation. And all the money was abroad. I'm like, in Costa Rica, that's zero.
Correct. You're selling real estate.
You're selling real estate. You're not selling a business.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I mean, Cristina, we've touched on quite a few things here. And again, I think that the Costa Rica is starting to get, I would say, a little bit more serious, if you know what I mean. But again, every so often, these conversations kind of come round, etc. But we'll see. And again, I think we're going to see a lot of it this year just because it is an election year. Next year, I think Feb, we have a new president, or, at least the first round anyway, because we probably won't get one to the second round as always. I always say here, like, it's like chicken bones trying to figure out who's going to be the next president here, because like I asked someone the other day who is actually one of the presidential candidates. He was like, Rich, I have no idea, but like, there's no front runner. So, but my last question for you, Cristina, as I've kept you long enough. If you inherited $500,000 and you had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in and why?
Vacation rentals.
You'd still do vacation rentals, even though that they're kind of, I mean, what would you do though? I mean, now, like,
I will just do it right. Buy a property, get the municipal permits, register with ICT, do everything, have the accountings in order, submit, and everything is still profitable. It can still be profitable even if you do it the right way.
If you register as just like having a rental income, you pay like 12.75% tax flat. Like you don't have to deduct, just pay the 12.75. You don't have to even dictate your expenses. You just pay that on the income. That's it. Like, and you're done.
Exactly.
They'll never audit you because all you do is go, here's my income. I pay this tax on it under this regime. Done.
Exactly.
I had the conversation the other day with a very large property management company. He was like, Rich, I don't even bother with the income and expenses. It's just so much easier. I've got, the tax authority here just would create stuff for me, not accept certain invoices and whatever. So I just went, you know what? It's easier for me to just pay the 12.75%. They come along. I say, here's my income. Here's the 12.75% I paid. Like, that's it. And then they just leave me alone.
Exactly. And there you go.
Yeah. But what would you build and where would you build it though is the question, Cristina, because everyone's answer is like vacation rental, but like where and what?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I want to answer this because then I will probably not say Nosara because of the situation at the moment, and then people may not like my answer. I will be honest. I will probably build close to where we live, which is in between Samara and Nosara.
Yep.
And it's a development area. They're finished to pave the roads. Thank you. Thank you, Costa Rican government. Thank you.
It took a long
So
time.
yeah, and I will do small apartments. I will, first of all, with 500K, your options are limited. You
Yeah.
cannot do luxury villa. But I will build like maybe 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms if I can.
Yeah.
Keep it simple and let it function. The smaller the rentals, the higher is the likelihood of, filling it with people.
Awesome. Well, Cristina, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast as always. If anyone wants to get into contact with you, I'll put all of your contact details there down in the description. I know your company, Bluezone, offers a wide variety of different services. So if anyone wants to talk to you, they can. But very much appreciate you taking the time to share your knowledge with us on the podcast.
Thank you. That was my pleasure. Thank you, Richard.
No worries. Bye. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that podcast there. Absolutely great there with Cristina, just giving you kind of a bit of an update of kind of what's happening there in the world of, I would say, legal and taxes here in Costa Rica. Again, for anyone that's been here a while, sometimes everyone knows that Costa Rica's bark is worse than its bite. And sometimes it's just to wait until you get informed a lot of the time on some of this stuff. Just because, again, sometimes there's new stuff that comes out. Municipalities have no idea how it's going on. Even the IRS Hacienda here has no idea how to manage it sometimes. So sometimes just better to wait, or just ask for some advice from people that have, if you have a vacation rental, ask property managers or ask your property manager. They'll make sure that you're up to date on everything. Remember, guys, if you're looking to do anything here in Costa Rica, please don't hesitate to contact us. info@investingcostarica.com, info@investingcostarica.com, or all of our contact details are also in the description down below. If you've enjoyed the podcast, guys, please recommend us to someone, give us 5 stars, write us a review. I very much appreciate everyone's support. If you want to reach out just to say hello, feel free to info@investingcostarica.com. We love to hear from you, and we'll continue to do these. We're 240 episodes in, so we're not stopping anytime soon. But very much appreciate everyone's support, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.